don't know how Wood does this at the beginning of every video. Alright, so today we're going to be doing a good old-fashioned angry rant because personally, I'm very frustrated by the fact that Nintendo Switch Online refuses to get better and PlayStation Online continually gets worse. Now, both of these companies are currently charging you penny by penny, month by month, just to log in. If you want to participate in multiplayer, you gotta pay the monthly fee. And yet, what are they doing with this cash? Well, seemingly not giving a hoot. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and we're going to be talking about Nintendo and PlayStation separately in this because they have very, very different problems from one another. Let's start off by talking about Nintendo. So when their service first launched, a lot of people were very, very forgiving simply because the cost was so low. So many people were saying, okay, yeah, it doesn't have a lot of features right now, but you know what? They'll just improve over time. It's $2 a month. What's the big deal? Well, from the very beginning, one of my biggest fears is that they wouldn't improve. That Nintendo would just take our cash and not bother actually implementing cool patches to update the service. And unfortunately, that is exactly what has happened. So in case you never played Nintendo Switch Online or you just don't even own a Switch, the predominant problem with it is the fact that it just lacks so many features that should exist in 2019. It does not have party chat. It doesn't really have the ability to pull friends from other games. You can't send invites. You can't really do anything other than just look at a list of players and say, oh, that's what they're playing? That's interesting. Now, one of the main excuses I heard from the very beginning is people going, okay, so it doesn't have a lot of features now, but developers can fill in the gaps. This was seriously a thing that was said over and over again, is even if Nintendo doesn't improve it, developers will fill in the gaps. Except here's the thing, game developers typically follow other people's leads. They try and figure out, okay, what's the console maker doing? Let's try and improve upon that. And since Nintendo is doing nothing, nobody is building upon anything. I mean, let's just look at the fact that it is now been almost 7 months since Mario Party came out, Super Mario Party. And this game was kind of controversial at launch just because it wasn't super great, but at least it was interesting and hey, it's a new Mario Party. Well, if you want to play this online, there are only a few little modes that you can actually tinker with on the internet. You cannot just play a full match on any board. This really has no online capacity. Even 7 months later, they have not fixed this. And other games that are about to come out, unfortunately, are still just sort of following in these footsteps. So just here in this very month, we're going to be finally getting Super Mario Maker 2, and personally, I'm super hyped about this, and they've announced that you will not be able to do co-op with your friends over the internet. It will have co-op if you play it locally. It will have random online multiplayer where you can just tinker with people randomly over the internet, but you can't just take your friends and play with them specifically. Now, this really, really irks me because, honestly, I had this great idea that I was going to do with Mario Maker 2 called Beat the Creator. My kind of rough idea was to maybe start doing like random streams on Thursday with Mario Maker 2, and what I was going to do is I was going to talk to the subscribers, I was going to figure out which stages you guys had made, and then get those stages and stream them and race you on your own level. That way I could see you try and teach me all the shortcuts and stuff. That was my idea, but this is impossible. Nintendo does not understand why we want online, why we want things like voice chat without a cell phone. I want to be able to talk to people. I want to be able to make friends. I want to be able to just enjoy the experiences. I still cannot even send a text message through my Switch to my friends. If you are on my friends list, and recently I accepted a bunch of y'all's friend requests on my Switch, it's so annoying that I can't ask you a question. If I see somebody that's playing like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, I can't just pick up my Switch and type in, hey man, how far are you? That is impossible, and I am paying a monthly fee for it. This is crazy talk and so easily could be fixed. Right now, Nintendo just does not care. They're not trying to do anything, and so the other developers that are coming on the platform aren't trying to really implement anything to try and fill in the gaps like people initially predicted. While it is possible to try and pressure Nintendo into letting you implement more third-party features in your games, there's less than a handful of projects in the world right now that actually have voice chat on Switch. This is possible. The technology is inside the console and nobody is utilizing it. And this is my problem with let the developers handle it, is sometimes if you don't actually create the initial infrastructure, nobody is going to use it. You know, part of the reason that the original Xbox was such a huge deal at the time is because a lot of this stuff, if you pull it down, you can see these Xbox Live enabled. This was a special thing where basically Microsoft was really pushing people to create online multiplayer, to basically create ideas. They basically said, all right, we're going to initially create a lot of the freaking groundwork. That way you are encouraged to try and run with it. How much can you make games big? How much can you make shooters fantastic? How little lag can you implement with just basic online functionality? And you know what? It seems like Nintendo saw this super old stuff and went, nah, brah, nah, we don't want voice chat, we don't want texting, we don't want parties, we don't want the ability to communicate with people on your friends list, we don't want the ability to invite people, we don't want the ability to actually create different groups, we don't want a way to actually rate games on our online store, we don't want to have Super Nintendo games on the virtual market, we don't want to have multiplayer, we don't want your money. That's what it feels like Nintendo's saying, and it's crazy to me because this stuff can be fixed. They're just choosing not to. Okay, so let's move on to PlayStation, because PlayStation's problems are very different in my opinion, because they're just a matter of flat out greed. So in general, I do think that the PlayStation Online service has decreased in value over time simply because they're providing not as many good games on PlayStation Plus. There are some more server outages, especially in the last couple months, but my biggest issue is the fact that the PlayStation Network refuses to improve despite the fact that they continually decide to raise the cost. So just in the last couple days, news has come out that they're about to once again increase the monthly and 3-month fee of PlayStation Plus, which remember is required for pretty much every single online game. Everything. Fortnite, racing games, GT Sport. I mean, if you're wanting to play stuff on your PlayStation and you want to just tinker around on the internet, well, you're going to be paying the monthly fee. Well, all across Europe and Asia, they're about to increase some of this stuff as much as 30%. And a lot of people right now over there are very angry because they're apparently a thing that's bigger over in Europe, from a lot of what people are saying, is just activating your PlayStation here and there. Like a new Call of Duty comes out and you're like, hey, I want to play that. You go on there and you buy like 1 or 3 months of the thing. And it seems like PlayStation is trying to take advantage of those people. They're trying to find the people who are playing it just the minimal amount, and they're trying to charge those people more because most people are not paying for the full online fee, or the full year-long fee right up front. So this is their way of trying to charge the lowest spenders the highest cost. Now here's my thing. PlayStation is not continually improving their product. It is not an uphill battle. It is not like this continually growing experience. If anything, we're seeing them remove some digital stuff from stores. The biggest thing is the fact that they finally implemented name changes, and it is unfortunately screwing up some people's save files. I didn't have that happen personally, but I have seen reports that people are having issues with their Nintendo or with their PlayStation Online names. And now it just seems like, honestly, my biggest concern is that PlayStation is so focused on how much they can maximize the profit on minimal users. Now, this is just my own little theory, but I've heard those rumors that there might be some sort of new version of PlayStation Plus when the PS5 comes out. Now, obviously, behind the scenes, they're definitely having to establish this new infrastructure. Currently online, there's the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4, and also the PlayStation Vita. And I do think that when the PlayStation 5 comes out next year, theoretically, I do think that what they're going to do is they're going to cancel all support of the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita, and it'll be just the PS4 and the PS5. And on top of this, I do think that what's going to happen is, I think that there's going to be 2 separate tiers of monthly fee. Standard online play and premium online play. This will have stuff like private servers, early access to betas, things like that basically they know a lot of people are very, very into. There is definitely this big thing online now of wanting to be the very first person in the world to play stuff, right? I mean, heck, I'm the same way. I love trying to play demos the freaking millisecond they go onto the store. And I think that PlayStation realizes they can monetize hype. I guess that's my thing is I want stuff to be better. I want to have the cleanest, fastest experience that is absolutely possible, and it seems like more and more that's becoming impossible because Nintendo and Sony, they just don't care. They know that people are going to pay. They know that they can get away with it, and they know that our voices are just not loud enough. You should really try and make your voice heard. Politely tell these developers. Try and politely tell all the PR people you can, hey, tell Nintendo that we need to pass this up. We need these things to get better. Because if you want to try and maximize the amount of happiness of your consumers, maybe give them the features they want. But this is just my opinion. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. How do you like, it's my first time doing an angry rant in a while, but you know what? That felt real good. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.